Hello and welcome back to EnglishStoryHub, the place where you learn English step by step and also learn how to think, grow, and live better with English every day. I am so happy you are here with me today. Maybe this is your first time listening, maybe you have been here before, but either way, today is special. We are going to talk about two powerful words, input and output. Input means what goes into your mind, the English you hear and the English you read. Output means what comes out, the English you speak and the English you write. Together, input and output are the heart of language learning. Think about this. You don't learn a language only by reading grammar rules. You learn it by listening, by reading, by speaking, and by writing. That is input and output working together. In this episode, you will learn 3 key ideas. First, input, the language you absorb. Second, output, the language you produce. And third, balance, finding the right mix so your English becomes natural and confident. Remember, this is not just theory. This podcast is for your listening practice. So relax, listen carefully, and repeat some phrases with me later. By the end, you will not only understand what input and output mean, but also know how to use them to grow your English step by step. Are you ready? Let's begin. So what is input? In simple words, input means the English that goes into your brain. It is what you receive, what you take in, through listening and through reading. Think about a baby. Before speaking, a baby spends months only listening. The baby hears the mother's voice, the father's words, the sounds around the house. This is input. The brain is collecting language, even if the baby cannot use it yet. Input is powerful because it gives you the building blocks of English. Building blocks means small pieces, like bricks for a house. Without bricks, you cannot build. Without input, you cannot speak or write. Let me give you an easy example. Imagine you listen to an English podcast every morning for 10 minutes. At first, you don't understand everything. But slowly, your ears get used to the sound of English. You start to recognize words, you remember common phrases, and one day you repeat them naturally. That is input turning into learning. Now let's practice shadowing. Please repeat after me. Input is the English I hear and read. My brain collects words like building blocks. Every day, small input makes me stronger. Good. Remember this. The more input you receive, the more natural English will feel to you. Step by step, input prepares your brain for output. Now let's talk about output. In simple words, output means the English that comes out of your brain. It is what you produce, what you create, through speaking and through writing. Think about the baby again. After months of listening, one day the baby says the first word, mama or dog. That is output. The baby uses the language that was collected before. Output is powerful because it trains your brain to use English actively. Actively means not just understanding, but doing, producing, and expressing. Without output, you may understand many words, but still feel silent when you want to speak. Here is a simple example. Imagine you write one short sentence in English every night before bed. Today, I felt happy. Or, I ate rice and vegetables. At first, it feels small. But after weeks, your writing becomes easier. Your sentences become longer. That is output in action. Another example. You listen to an English podcast in the morning. In the evening, you try to speak about it for 2 minutes. Maybe you make mistakes, maybe you forget words, but you are using what you learned. That is output. Now let's practice shadowing. Please repeat after me. Output is the English I speak and write. I don't need to be perfect, I just need to try. Using English every day makes me confident. Well done. Remember this. Input fills your mind. Output opens your mouth. Together, they create fluency. So now we know what input is and what output is. But here is a big question. Why do we need both? The answer is simple. Balance. Balance means the right mix, not too much of one, not too little of the other. Think about cooking. If you only collect ingredients, vegetables, rice, spices, but never cook, you will stay hungry. That is input without output. On the other hand, if you try to cook, but you have no ingredients, you cannot make a meal. That is output without input. You see, you need both. In English learning, input gives you words, grammar, and ideas. Output helps you use them, speak them, and write them. Together, they make your English strong and natural. Without balance, learning feels slow. With balance, learning feels alive. Now, let's do a quick shadowing practice. Please repeat after me. Balance means using input and output together. Input gives me words. Output helps me use them. With balance, my English grows every day. Great. Now, let's do a mini test. Answer in the comments below. This is your chance to practice and show what you learned. Question 1. If you only listen and read, but never speak, what are you missing? Input or output? Question 2. If you try to talk, but you don't understand many words, what are you missing? Input or output? Question 3. In your opinion, what is harder for you? Input or output? Write one sentence in English. Write your answers in the comments. I will read them, and you will also learn from each other. Remember, practice is power. Now, let's learn some useful words that will help you talk about input and output. Remember, I will explain them in simple English and give you an example. Listen carefully and repeat after me. 1. Input, the English you take in through listening or reading. Example. Listening to a podcast is input. 2. Output, the English you produce through speaking or writing. Example. Writing a short diary in English is output. 3. Absorb, to take in and keep something in your mind, like a sponge takes water. Example. I absorb new words when I read stories. 4. Practice, to do something again and again to improve. Example. I practice speaking every evening. 5. Balance, the right mix, not too much, not too little. Example. I try to balance listening and speaking every day. 6. Fluency, the ability to speak easily and smoothly. Example. Fluency comes from daily practice. 7. Mistake, something not correct, but useful for learning. Example. I learn from my mistakes when I write English. 8. Confidence, the feeling that you can do something well. Example. Speaking often builds my confidence. 9. Exposure, the amount of time you spend with English. Example. More exposure to English makes me understand faster. 10. Progress, improvement over time, step by step. Example. My progress is slow, but I can see it. Now, let's do a quick shadowing practice. Please repeat after me. Input and output are both important. I absorb English through listening and reading. Confidence grows when I practice output. Balance gives me fluency. Every day, I make progress. Wonderful. You are not only listening, you are also using new words. That is input and output working together. Let me tell you a short story about Maria. Maria is from Brazil. She wanted to improve her English, but she only watched movies and listened to music. That was good input, but when she tried to speak, she felt nervous and silent. She had no output. One day, Maria made a small plan. She decided to keep her input, watching movies and listening to podcasts. But she also added output. Every night, she wrote 3 sentences in her notebook, and she spoke for 2 minutes about her day. At first, she made many mistakes. She felt shy. But slowly, something changed. The sentences in her notebook became longer. Her voice became stronger. She felt more confident. After 3 months, Maria could talk with her English teacher for 10 minutes without stopping. That was the power of balance, input and output working together. Now, let's practice some shadowing. Repeat after me. Input fills my brain with English. Output helps me use English. Balance makes me confident. Like Maria, I can grow step by step. Great work. Now, here is a small challenge for you. Write in the comments. Today my input was, for example, listening to this podcast. Today my output was, for example, writing 1 sentence or speaking for 2 minutes. This is your first step to balance. Share it, and let's learn together. Now, let's make it practical. Here is a simple 7-day plan for you. Each day, you will do 1 small input and 1 small output. Just 10 to 15 minutes. Small steps, but powerful results. Day 1. Input. Listen to this podcast again for 10 minutes. Output. Write 3 short sentences about what you learned. Day 2. Input. Read a short English article or story. Output. Say out loud 3 new words you learned and make sentences with them. Day 3. Input. Watch a short English video without subtitles. Output. Speak for 2 minutes about what you saw. Day 4. Input. Listen to an English song. Focus on 2 to 3 lines. Output. Sing or repeat the lines aloud. Day 5. Input. Read a simple news headline or quote in English. Output. Write 2 to 3 sentences with your opinion. Day 6. Input. Listen to an English story while walking or relaxing. Output. Retell the story in your own words, even if it's short. Day 7. Input. Choose your favorite English podcast, video, or book. Output. Record yourself speaking for 3 minutes about what you learned this week. Now, let's do a shadowing practice. Repeat after me. Small input, small output, every day. I can follow a simple plan. 7 days will make me stronger. Good job. Here is your challenge. In the comments, write your plan for day 1. For example, my input is listening to this podcast. My output is writing 3 sentences. When you share, you make your plan real. And you inspire other learners too. When learning English, many people don't fail because of grammar or vocabulary. They fail because of habits. Let's look at 3 common traps. Mistake 1. Listening without focus. You play English videos all day, but your brain is on your phone, on your food, on your problems. At the end, yes, you heard English, but you learned nothing. Fix. Give just 5 minutes of full attention. Listen with your eyes, your ears, your heart. 5 focused minutes can teach you more than 1 distracted hour. Mistake 2. Silence. You understand the words in your head, but your mouth never opens. You are afraid of sounding wrong, so you say nothing. And every day of silence is a day lost. Fix. Speak now. Even if your sentence is broken, even if your tense is wrong, the courage to speak today builds the fluency of tomorrow. Mistake 3. Chasing perfection. You wait for the perfect grammar, the perfect vocabulary, the perfect accent. But perfection never comes. While you wait, time passes. Opportunities disappear. Fix. Choose progress, not perfection. 1 step today is better than 10 perfect steps that never happen. Now, repeat after me. Strong voice, strong mind. 5 minutes of focus beats, 1 hour of noise. Silence is the enemy. My voice is the solution. Progress today, not perfection tomorrow. Excellent. These are not only language mistakes. They are life mistakes. Fix them. And you don't just grow in English. You grow as a person. Before we finish, let's collect today's big ideas in a fresh way. Think of your English like a journey. Along the road, you need 3 things. Fuel to keep moving. That's your listening and reading. Practice walks to use your energy. That's your speaking and writing. Direction, so you don't get lost. That's your daily plan. When you have all 3, your journey becomes smoother, and you go further. Now, let's add some new key phrases to your English toolbox. Repeat after me. Small habits build big change. My brain grows when I use English every day. I don't wait for perfect, I start now. Every word I practice is 1 more step forward. Excellent. Here is your mini task. In the comments, write 1 short habit you will start today. For example, I will read 1 English headline every morning. Keep it simple, but make it real. Remember, English is not just something you study. It is something you live, step by step, moment by moment. We are at the finish line of today's practice. But remember, every finish is also a beginning. What you heard today is not just theory. It is a tool. A tool you can use the moment you close this podcast. Learning English is not about waiting for tomorrow. It's about using what you have right now. 1 sentence, 1 new word, 1 small action. That is enough to keep your progress alive. I want you to leave this episode with courage. Courage to try, courage to fail, and courage to begin again. Because every try makes you stronger. If you enjoyed this session, make sure you subscribe to English Story Hub. That way, you will always have a guide, a voice, and a story to walk with you on this journey. And if you found value here, share it with one person who needs the same motivation. Your voice matters. Your effort matters. And your English journey is already moving forward. Keep going. I'll be waiting for you in the next episode.